Hi everybody, this is episode 4 and we're talking about boat bottoms and barnacles. For those along the east coast in Florida, it's nothing new, but for us who came from Lake Ontario, the Great Lakes and the river systems, this is new, so we'll take a look at boat bottoms and barnacles. Hi everybody, hope you take a second to hit subscribe and the notifications while the intro's running. And
all right, chaps, let's kick the donkey.
Hi, we're Becky and Dave. We're sailing the Great Loop on our sailboat Bell Esprit. And we can't forget Floki, he's our 3-year-old Pomsky. We've trekked to Everest Base Camp, sailed across to Bermuda, camping the Southwest States in a Jeep. But the Great Loop is epic, filled with adventures, challenges, and a whole community of new friends. So join us. Here is Bell Esprit with a nice new bottom coat of paint. This paint is formulated for seawater, and since we came from the Great Lakes area, we needed to have something new put on the bottom. So we went to Pelican's Perch in Pensacola. So we gave ourselves 3 months to prepare and hit the road for the Great Loop. And it wasn't until we were going down the river systems past Chicago that we heard other people talking about getting their bottom painted on the boat, because we're all from the lakes and the river systems, and that bottom paint doesn't last in seawater. I'd say the best thing to do is to get your bottom paint ready for the salt water as soon as you put the boat in after the winter. The other thing is you have to schedule with any of the marinas that might do bottom paint, and be aware of the weather conditions, because you have to have a certain temperature to put the bottom paint on. We also notice the farther south you get, the longer it takes. It's a lifestyle. This is Keith's boat. He's a diver. And this is Keith. Keith's someone that we all need probably once every 4 to 6 weeks. Keith runs a business like many others along the coastal waters, where they clean the barnacles and the slime off the bottom of the boats. And it needs to be done every 4 to 6 weeks. Otherwise, your boat will become an upside down reef, and fish will congregate underneath, and you won't be able to move very fast. Here's a picture of a boat that hasn't been cleaned in a little while. What you see below is the propeller. The propeller is a round ball of barnacles now. So I got a little plastic scraper, and I started scraping underneath the back of the boat where the transom is, the stern, and just being in the water with a mask and trying to keep your balance and everything is really difficult. And at my age, I was exhausted. This is a tough job. The anti-fouling paint does help a lot. I mean, the barnacles that were on there for the past month and had grown to the size of a pea or a little bit larger, they just popped off the paint pretty easy. Untreated surfaces I was expected to be a lot more difficult. Keith has a couple of air tanks in his dinghy attached to an air hose that goes to regular so he can breathe underwater. It's got 3 basic tools, and they're attached to him by string, because I guess you learn by experience that if you drop one, you're diving for it. What can you say about barnacles? Well, they're hermaphrodites, or they have both sex organs. So when they're all grouped together, they can fertilize someone else's eggs and get fertilized, and then they have larvae. And when the larvae are hatched from the eggs, they drift off and look for hard surfaces to attach to. I guess once they find a hard surface, they know other barnacles won't be far behind. But they glue their heads to whatever hard surface they find, and then they start building their shell. They have tentacles that they breathe through and gather food, and if left unattended, they'll just keep growing and getting bigger and bigger. Back in Lake Ontario, we used to use a copper powder that we painted on the hull, but they can't use that anymore because of the environment. So we used the Interlux paint that's good for salt water and fresh water. There's so many products on the market that you'll have to do your own research and find out what's best for your boat bottom. Keith's just working on our gauge that tells us how fast we're going through the water. These never work, so we rely on our Navionics and chart plotter to give us our speed. Can't imagine you have so much stuff growing around a propeller shaft. You know, the propeller is like moving at so many RPMs, and to have anything like grow and live there, beyond me. Keith is using a metal tool with a bit of some curves on it, getting these tight spots like the through hulls and around the shaft. There we go, it's all clean.